Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, Wild Boar Cycling. This is Brian and
that's John.
And I'm John. And this is the time of year when a lot of folks are out there thinking about modifications they want to do to their bikes and stuff, and really taking the time to do maintenance in that. And I have got Trek's latest new addition to their saddle lineup. This is their Aeolus AirLoom saddle, and it's 3D printed. 3D printed saddles, this is not a new thing.
That's not super new, but it's,
No, but for Trek, this is their entry into that market. So I want to talk about this and why I'm going to use this, I think, on my Amunda. That's my Go Fast bike. How about that?
Yeah.
Cool? Okay, folks, well, let's go ahead and see what this looks like out of the box. And of course, this is their top shelf equipment from their Race Shop Limited RSL. And wow, it is beautiful. I'm gonna need to get my snippers and cut that off. But I'm just looking at it right up close right now and looking at the construction. And this is that weave that is unique to 3D printed saddles. And there are a lot of advantages, I think, Brian, why somebody might want to have a 3D printed saddle. So let me unclip this and we'll come around here on the other side and talk about it, why it might be a good idea for folks out there in YouTube land. How about that? So, Brian, what do you think about that, your first blush?
Well, it's interesting, because I've been hearing about 3D printed saddles for a while, and this thing is really light.
Yeah, I think it comes in at about 167 grams.
Yeah, that's a pretty light saddle.
Yeah, very light.
And initially I thought, well, see, 3D printed saddle, that's a really great thing if you want a custom saddle.
Right.
But this isn't a custom saddle.
No, this is a stock 155.
And so what I'm looking at this, and the reason why 3D printing is such a cool option for this is the way they make saddles.
Yeah.
Not 3D printing them, is you put down a piece of foam and then you cover it with some sort of fabric, usually like fake leather, which means you have to put material where you don't need material.
Correct. So, hey Brian, let's take one step back here. What's the big deal about saddles?
Well, I
want to talk about touch points right now.
Yeah, I mean,
because there are 3 big touch points.
Yeah, you only touch the bike
in 3 places.
Well,
no,
5 places.
Well, if you're counting 2, yeah, okay. If you're gonna be splitting atoms on that, all right. But there are 3 important spots, and here's a picture of that of me on my bike, and I just want you to look at those 3 touch points. First of all, here are my hands, and then I got my feet, and you know how picky I am about shoes.
You're really picky
I'm picky about my shoes. And then another touch point is your saddle. And you know what? If any one of those isn't working, you're not going to be having fun on your bike.
Definitely not.
No.
And the other thing is that the saddle specifically, this has the most weight on it of anything you're doing.
Right.
I mean, this is carrying a large percentage of your weight.
Too.
I doubt you're having as much poundage sitting on the saddle as.
So, Brian, now we talked about touch points.
Yeah.
And one thing you get when you get a 3D printed saddle is a lightweight.
It's really lightweight.
Super lightweight. And so, what are the other things that folks ought to consider when they think about a 3D printed saddle like this?
Well, I mean,
the advantage of it.
The advantage of it is this is a touch point. You're really technically only touching this at your sit bones, right about there.
And time out. If you haven't been measured on your sit bones at a shop, it takes 2 minutes to go sit on a machine, and it's a little piece of rubber that changes color on a seat, and then you're going to know how wide of a saddle that you need. So go out and get measured. I mean, that's something else you can do too. It's easy. Okay, sorry to interrupt your thought there.
Yeah, that's usually free.
Yeah, this is totally free.
Nothing worse than an ill-fitting saddle. But so because of that, because of the 3D printing, is they can put, compliance right where your sit bones are, and then have stiffness where the saddle needs a little more support, which is kind of a cool thing. And I think the other thing about this is there's probably less waste from an environmental standpoint making a 3D printed saddle, because you're not cutting stuff out of a big sheet. It's just printing it down here. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, they're very cool, and Trek isn't the only one out here. And I was able to purchase this one at the bike shop in Windsor. Ben was able to get it for me, and it's just great. But let's take a step back. And so they cut the carbon fiber, the bottom one here, and then they put the 3D printed pieces on top. And this, those little holes that we showed you when we started, that's where you actually get, you know, softer where you want softer, and firmer where you need to have firmer. So, and I guess the other thing, Brian, is this is a unisex saddle.
Oh,
I mean, it's made for men and for women. But caution though, it's race geometry, folks. And this is not a comfort saddle. This is going to put you in an aggressive riding position, and you have to be careful to make that when you do that. Cool.
I kind of hope you don't like this.
Why is that, Brian?
Then you give it to me.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know about that. But I'm excited to put it on my road bike here. I think it's going to work really well. And I've been really happy. I have an RSL saddle on my checkpoint, but it's a traditional one. It's got the carbon fiber bottom and the typical foam and some type of cover on the top. Let's see, what else? Oh, I do want to talk about one more thing about this. And I want you to pay really close attention to the rails. And you see how they're oval? You got to make sure the ears on your seat mast or your clamp will accept those oval rails. That's not a hard fix, but you just have to pay attention to that. You know, if you have a Trek product, boy, the mast comes right off. You just drop another mast down, and you have the correct connections here for your saddle rails. Yeah. So yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Anything else I want to say about this, I think?
I mean, they make a claim about not having foam fabric reduces friction for rubbing. You'll have to see. I don't know how much friction issues you have on long rides. But
I think what they're meaning, because you know, I can feel where it gets firm and where it gets soft.
Yeah.
I mean, just standing here holding it. But I think they're talking about the coating that they put on after they've done the build-up. And that coating on here will allow you to slide, because you move around a little bit, folks, when you're out there on your bike. You know, I noticed today when I was out training, you know, sometimes I'm sliding up a little further on the nose, depending on the conditions, or sometimes I'm sitting back. But this is going to allow you to slide without creating that friction too.
I'm wondering, do these come without the cutout? I mean, a lot of people are moving to the cutout for a ton of good reasons, but do they come without a cutout?
I don't think the RSL saddles will. You know, that's specifically for anatomy and, you know, for comfort. So, cool. Like it?
Yeah.
You're hoping I don't like it, right?
I'm hoping you don't like it.
Yeah, great. Well, folks, this is my first review of this. This is the Trek RSL AirLoom saddle that I purchased at the bike shop in Windsor. And I'm gonna pop it on my Amanda and take it out for some rides, and I'll probably come back on here in a week or so and let you know how this stuff is all working out. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Cool. In the meantime, what are they gonna do, Brian?
They're gonna go out and ride.
Have some fun.
And I keep the rubber side
down, but they're not gonna do any of that stuff until you smash that like, subscribe,
all that,
and notify button. And before you go out and have fun, make sure you check your touch points, okay? And if you haven't been measured for a saddle, get measured. You'll be surprised at what you learn from that process. You've never been measured for a saddle.
No. I did it with a piece of cardboard.
Oh, piece of cardboard.
You just sit on a piece of cardboard and you leave little dimples and you can measure it.
Okay. Whatever works for you, okay, buddy? All right, folks. We'll see you next week. I hope you enjoy this. Bye now.
Bye.
Hey folks, I want to give a quick postscript on the Aeolus AirLoom saddle that I just put back here on my Amanda. I had it out for a little ride. And what I noticed immediately is, wow, we have come a long way from saddles that used to be constructed like this, haven't we? Hey, so here are my first thoughts. Hey, it delivered as advertised. Firm where it needs to be firm, compliant where it needs to be compliant. But one thing I did notice, and I came back and put it on my micrometers, I felt that nose was a little bit wider than the RSL saddle that I have over here on my checkpoint. And wow, what I found out was, yep, that AirLoom saddle that I put on my Amanda, it mics out at 45 millimeters, and that checkpoint RSL saddle mics out at 40. So I'm not sure if that's important for y'all, but I did notice it. It didn't chafe me or have any problems with it, and I'll probably get used to it over time. So, but I did want to let you know that that may be something, especially if you're a knee-in rider like I am. Okay, folks, hope that was helpful.